Well, I would like to say good evening, but it's not a good evening, is it? It's a pretty poor evening yet again, and it's raining here. And it kind of, I don't know, perhaps the weather kind of sums up where we're all at this moment in time. After that debacle today at Ibrox, Rangers going down 3-1-2. You know, it could only have been worse, couldn't it, if it had been that lot from across the city? But the fact that it's Aberdeen kind of makes it just as bad, doesn't it? Well, not just as bad, but it makes it bad as well. That's the situation. We lose that game to 3-1, and you listen to I listened to Michael Beale after the. Now, we're going to get to your comments, and there's loads of comments in the live chat. We're going to obviously talk through your comments tonight. As I said on the description, this is your show tonight. Your chance to get off your feelings off your chest tonight. But I listened to Michael Beale after the game, and seriously, that guy is he's on a different planet. He really is on a different planet. He's lost the plot. He calls the fans harsh for booing Rangers off at half time after what he described as a good 15 to 20 minute start. He says he wants more from the fans to help his beleaguered stars. Well, Michael, give us something to cheer on the pitch, and then we'll obviously, get behind it a bit more. But I just think he's just absolutely lost it. He is clueless when it comes to knowing what is going wrong, what is, and it's not, look, before anybody says, oh, look, it's famous, isn't it? Rangers fans overreacting yet again to another defeat. It's not just tonight, is it? It's looking at the whole body of work of Michael Beale. It's looking at the fact that this season, for example, we have looked awful. We have not played a good game, a whole 90-minute performance. We have not been able to string passes together. The shape of the team is awful. The formation is awful. The tactics are non-existent. The signings, if anything, have made well, actually, let me just qualify that. With the exception of Jack Butland, and I feel so sorry for Jack Butland tonight. Jack Butland, it was like the Alamo for him at times today. He makes the save, he's got to be back up, ready to make another one, then another save, and eventually it goes in the back of the net. Not his fault. He pulled off some fantastic saves again today, but Jack Butland was let down by his defence. And look, I've stuck up for these guys. I've been slaughtered for slaughtering Tab, but Tab was a disgrace today. That man's not fit to captain this team anymore. Connor Goldson, absolute disgrace today. Absolute disgrace he was today. And you can say, I've heard Rangers fans say, oh, well, there's a lot of injuries and, we've got to give Beale time because of the injuries. I've also heard them say, well, the players will be frustrated too. Absolute bollocks. Those players are not frustrated. Those players are lazy. Those players are good for nothing. Just absolute disgraces. I mean, I got home from work today and I put the game and I started watching the game when I was picking my kids up. And you know what? They gave up second half. They just gave up, and it's unforgivable. Any Rangers player giving up at home against Aberdeen is unforgivable. Absolutely unforgivable. And look, if you go back across my videos, I've never actually officially said that I want Michael Beale sacked. I've never come out and said Beale should be gone. I've never come out and said Beale out. I haven't said any of those things. But I've come to that point now where, to be honest with you, I can't see any other way. He's got to go. He has got to go. And I'm officially today calling for his head. The rabble, and I think this is the other thing. You look at all the Rangers fan channels, but not just the fan channels. Heart and Hand, Club Partner, Four Lads Had a Dream, Club Partner, all calling for Beale to go. His position is untenable now amongst the fans, and the board have got to act. Do I think the board will act? No, I don't think the board will act. I think the board will cower out of it. I think Michael Beale will still be manager come the game against Celtic in December. Honestly do. I don't think the board have got the balls to act. I think it's, yes, part of the major issue, Stuart Robertson, who was useless, hopeless as a chief executive, Douglas Park, who was an awful chairman, has been replaced by Bennett and Bisgrove. Do I think Bennett and Bisgrove have got the courage to sack him? No, I don't. I don't honestly think they've got the courage. I think they'll bottle it. Look at Bisgrove leaving Ibrox early tonight. Photographs on X, on Twitter, whatever you want to call it, of him leaving early. I'm sorry, but the decision should have been made at the end of that game today. You know, there's no cold light of day. There's no sitting back and looking at it in, you know, in reflection 24 hours, 40 hours later. The guy's got to go. He's got to go now. The sooner we get rid of him, the sooner we can look at who replaces him and what we do. Let's get to your comments, guys. Duncan McIntosh in the live chat says, Beale has to be sacked tonight. I agree, Duncan. He's got to go tonight. It's the longer Rangers board leave this, the further behind we'll get. The league is effectively over, you know, if Beale stays. Yes, if we do sack him and someone else comes in, it's going to be really hard to claw back those 7 points, given the situation that Celtic are in, given the situation that goes on within the league with other teams and referees and the SFA. And, you know, what annoys me, and I've seen this on X and Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook as well, this is not even a good Celtic team. This is a shit Celtic team. It's a crap Celtic team. Yet they're romping away with the league. Brendan Rodgers must be laughing tonight. And that's another thing. I'm fed up of being a laughing stock. That's what we're becoming because of Michael Beale. My good buddy Aldo says Beale out now, but it won't happen. The board are cowards. Aldo, I agree with you. The board are cowards. Look, Rangers board, I'm calling you out tonight. If you've got an ounce of common sense, an ounce of courage, an ounce of love for this club, sack him now. If you fail to act now, you are irresponsible. You are showing you are negligent in your duty. You are showing that you are a failure. And it is time for you to act. And if you don't, Bisgrove, Bennett, you too are as guilty as Beale of taking this team down a route where we will be second best to that lot across the city, which is unforgivable. Aldo says, oh, and I owe you apology. Dessers is dug meat. I tried to give him time. Dessers is absolute awful. Bigby Bog says, Dessers Lammers absolute duds. Yeah, look, I said when Cyril Dessers signed that the guy's hopeless. He was signed because he scored 10 goals in Europa League for Feyenoord. But you go back across his record over 3-4 seasons, it's absolute pish. It's absolute pish. The guy couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. I mean, we've seen this season, haven't we? And look, I got slaughtered, you know, by Rangers fans for saying how crap Cyril Dessers was. And I'll be honest with you, he's even worse than I thought he was. I mean, today he you know, he has that chance where he's 1-1 with the keeper, and rather than he doesn't even make the keeper work. It's the same against PSV Eindhoven. And look, PSV Eindhoven took us to school, and PSV aren't even that good a team. We've seen that in the Champions League. They're getting their arses handed to them in the Champions League. So, you know, he doesn't even make the keeper work. 3 chances against Ross County, missed the lot. He's not even an upgrade on Morelos. I would rather play last season's Alfredo Morelos, out of condition, fat tummy Alfredo Morelos over Cyril Dessers. That's how shit Cyril Dessers is. Cyril Dessers, if you are watching tonight, which I know you are, because you're a massive fan of Glasgow Rangers Nation, because you know how much I love you, go away, get lost, leave. Leave now. Nobody wants you at this club. Nobody wants you in a Rangers shirt ever again. Mate, you are a disgrace, and you deserve to be booed off. And if I was at Ibrox, I would boo you every time you touch the ball, because you, son, are an utter disgrace. Blue Nose John, a good friend of the channel, says, let's put Neil McCann and Kevin Thompson in charge, at least for the Limassol game. These are guys who bleed blue blood. Good shout, John. Yeah, can't do any worse than Michael Beale, can they? They are, you know, good lads. Scott Hammond says, time's up, not work. Beale is emptying Ibrox. We can't afford to keep him. 100% agree with you, Scott, on that one. Bigby Bog says, only so much you can do with the injuries and dud players now. 100%, absolutely. You know, we are, and allegedly, apparently, Ridvan Yilmaz and Ryan Jack are now injured again. Ridvan Yilmaz, who seems to be injured when he sneezes, he needs to put his back out by sneezing. Ryan Jack, obviously, who we know has an issue with injuries. They were taken off at half time. Now, we thought it was a tactical change by Michael Beale, but evidently not. It was because they were both injured. So we obviously give Michael Beale too much credit there. It was not because they were injured. It was not because they were tactical. It was an injury change. Jose Cifuentes, another absolute donkey. Look, Bigby, I'm going to tell you something. I got it wrong on Cifuentes. I was really excited about Cifuentes coming to this team. I honestly thought Cifuentes would be, you know, that player we needed, the box-to-box midfielder, the creative influence with Cantwell. You know, Cantwell, Raskin, and Cifuentes. A midfield that dominates the SPFL. It's how wrong I've been. Cifuentes is to blame for the first, I think it was the first goal. He doesn't even track his man. He doesn't even track his man. He lets the game pass him by. He looks scared. He looks out of place. He just doesn't look up to it. Whether it's because he's tired, because he's played too much football this year, whether he's just hasn't adapted yet from MLS, or whether he's just not a good footballer, I don't know. But he has been appalling. Aldo, and for Beale to say it was harsh to boo them at halftime, fuck you if you jumped up coach, never a Rangers manager. Absolutely. One thing you don't do as a manager, as a head coach, as a chairman, if you're involved with a football club, you don't criticise the fans. That is unforgivable. And I mean, to criticise Rangers fans as well. Fans like our fans follow this team home, away, in huge numbers. We spend thousands and thousands of pounds. We're going through a cost of living crisis in this country. We're going through a situation where families, struggle to buy food, struggle to pay their energy bills. And yet Rangers fans, we are still pouring thousands and thousands and millions of pounds into that club, buying merchandise, buying things in the ground, buying drinks, buying tickets, buying season tickets, buying MyJers memberships. £50 I spent on my MyJers membership. Giving £50 I haven't really got, but I still spent it because I'm a Rangers fan and I want to support the club. But to criticise our fans is just unforgivable. Michael Beale, you are a disgrace. You do not criticise the fans. It's awful. Shouldn't be playing for Glasgow Rangers. I think he means Cifuentes. Manager's system and signings are unbelievably bad. Big B Bog, I would dispute the fact there's a system. There is no system. There's zero system in this team. Guys, there's nothing. I can't find a system. He buys players to play inverted, to play with 2 10s. He then abandons that system. He then puts 2 wide players on against Betis and looks quite good, but then abandons that system. I don't think he's got a system. I really don't. And Scott Wright, what the fuck is going on with Scott Wright? How is a man that we've tried to sell 3 times in the summer still creeping onto that team? Get himself sent off today. He probably did it on purpose because he didn't want to be on that field anymore. I mean, it was a disgrace, absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Tim's Winters, hi Owen, Vic and Bears, back to drawing board, lads. Worst to come, I fear. P.S. Even their website is failing. Pay for games you can't watch due to countries. All a joke. Obviously, I think to do with Rangers TV. He says, bring on our youngsters. No time like the present. Lammers and Dessers to the reserves. We are the people. I agree with you. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Why not play get some of the young lads out there? They cannot do any worse than this first team are doing at this moment in time. Bailey Rice, Adam Devine, Zach Lovelace. Are they going to be any worse? Cole McKinnon. Are they going to be any worse than what we're seeing on a daily basis? Are they going to be any worse than Connor Goldson? Is Adam Devine or Dujon Sterling going to be any worse than James Tavernier? James Tavernier is an absolute disgrace. He's a captain, yet he doesn't behave like a captain. I'm sorry, but awful. RFC 76, the board are our biggest worry. Bad football decision after bad football decision. They should be hounded out as well as Beale, along with the majority of these players by the end of the season. Look, the board, for me, are just, unless they act within the next 24 hours, they deserve all the criticism they get. This club, let's just go back for a minute. If we go back to 55, after 55, we had an opportunity to really bury Celtic. We had our foot on their throats. All we needed to do was to press down and finish them off. We needed to invest in the team. We needed to invest in the club. We needed to invest more in the infrastructure. We needed to build this club back up. We should have listened to Steven Gerrard. We didn't. And now look where we are. We are fast becoming a situation where Scotland is becoming like Germany. Now, I know Bayern are losing tonight against RB Leipzig, but on the whole, Bayern win the title pretty much every season, and Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig finish second. That's the way it works in Germany. What is happening in Scotland is fast becoming Germany. That lot from across the city are becoming Bayern Munich. We are becoming the Borussia Dortmund to their Bayern Munich, where we occasionally will win a league title, we'll occasionally win a cup, we'll occasionally get to a Europa final, but we won't consistently do anything. We won't consistently win trophies. Standards dictate, and rightly so, this club should be winning trophies season in, season out. And you know what? If we come out of this season with just the League Cup, which we should win realistically because we're the only decent team left in it. Well, we're only team. Well, I would dispute that, but there we go. But you know what I mean? It's just a situation where we've got to raise the standards. And something's got to be done. Shambles of a club, says Callum C. We had a millionaire join the board not so long ago, and he put his hands in his wallet and buy some decent players, says Rangers loyalist. He should have been sacked by now. What is it with this board waiting on until it's too late, says Stuart. Beale out now, says Aldo. Blue Nose John says, we need to stop these experiments with managers. The next one has to be right or we're in serious trouble. That's the situation. We need an experienced manager. We need our next appointment is a critical appointment, whenever that is. And I really am worried, guys. And I'm being honest here. I'm so concerned about the future of this club under Michael Beale. You know, we are heading backwards at a rapid rate of knots. We are playing garbage football. Gio Van Bronckhorst was sacked last season, and probably rightly so because of where the club was and how he'd fallen behind them. But Gio Van Bronckhorst had won the Scottish Cup. He'd come within one kick of winning the Europa League. Now, he has much more credit to his name than Michael Beale has got. Michael Beale has lost every single game that matters. He's never beaten Celtic when it matters. Yes, we won that last Old Firm game, that dead rubber at the end of the season, where there was nothing riding on it. He could have won 2 cups last season. He lost to Celtic in the League Cup final with getting his tactics wrong, with picking the wrong players and putting the wrong team out there. He then went to the Scottish Cup semi-final, and again, we lost again to them. We lose in the league to them at Parkhead. We lose to Aberdeen away when it mattered. We get knocked out of the Champions League by PSV Eindhoven. Say what you want about Gio. He got us to the Champions League. He beat PSV. He beat Union Saint-Gilloise, who arguably are a stronger team than Servette, who we did beat in the Champions League. Michael Beale has failed every time we've needed him to succeed so far. RFT72 said billionaire loyalist, and I'm sure the first thing to happen was him taking money out of the club to repay the money he put in. He should have been out after the Old Firm. Oldo, bro, in my opinion, I agree. Stuart, he should never have got the job in the first place, mate. There's a lot of people felt that it was a rush. I'm going to say this to you. I watch a fair bit of Championship football down here in England. And I was listening to some QPR fans talking about Michael Beale. They hate him. Not because he left in the manner that he did, but the position that he left them in. Beale left them with players that nearly got them relegated last season. He left them with players who, down tools, weren't up to the task and nearly got QPR relegated last season. And Gareth Ainsworth is now trying to rebuild that club, and that club is still in a hell of a mess. And do you know what the common factor there is? Michael Beale. Michael Beale's players. Michael Beale was given the opportunity to go out and get the players he wanted. Michael Beale was allowed to buy the players he wanted at QPR. He's fucked QPR up. Now he's in the process of fucking Rangers up too. Tim's win says, can't watch any of the post-match interviews. They're cringy. Lol. Aldo says in the live chat, wait, did 8 minutes or more just get added? That was 8 minutes. Yes, there was 8 minutes. I think it ended about 13. These comments are a bit older, aren't they? Now I'm getting through them now. What did he train the young boys when he was a coach? Because it wasn't anything about football. He doesn't have a clue. Has Beale gone yet? Unfortunately, not Malky McClellan. He hasn't gone yet. RFC72, 100% made. Lazy appointment by the board. I think the thing you've got to take into consideration, Stuart, is that was an appointment made by Douglas Park and Stuart Robertson, further accentuating the mistakes that both of them had made at the club previously. The Ross Wilson debacle, for example. Malky, this shite bag of a board probably won't do it. RFC72, I agree with you. They will bottle it big time, in my opinion. There we go. Keep going through these comments. They wait until the next international break, like they always do, too late, and the season will be over before it even starts. I agree, Stuart. If we wait till the next international break, I think it's the 14th of October, which is still some 2 weeks away. It's going to be a situation where we're going to be even further behind them. And, you know, it's just not good enough. Absolutely not good enough at all. RFC72 says, this board took Gio, very poor record. China, Feyenoord fans wanted him gone over Knutson. Then Beale over Farioli, who's battling at the top of League One with Nice beating PSG and Monaco. Again, wrong decisions, bad due diligence, mistakes made by the board from the beginning. Stuart, that's my biggest worry, comes from the board since 55th. We went backwards every season by season. Exactly, Stuart. The board did not listen after 55. If Stuart Robertson and Douglas Park had got their heads out of their asses for long enough and stopped self-congratulating themselves for 55, which was not down to them, which was down to Steven Gerrard, listen to Steven Gerrard, we would not be in the position we are today. We would not have had to undergo the alleged rebuild that we've had to undergo this season. We would have been in a much stronger position if the board had listened to Steven Gerrard after 55. Douglas Park, Stuart Robertson, you've got an awful lot to answer for. And you know what? In my opinion, Douglas Park and Stuart Robertson are never welcome back at Glasgow Rangers, ever. Season's over now, Stuart. Majority of these players are shite bags, don't have mentality to battle for a title. RFC 72, I agree with you because, like I said, second half, what I saw second half was players that had given up, players that had no stomach for the fight, players that didn't want to fight. And that's unforgivable. That's unforgivable. If you're going to lose, at least go down fighting. But it's happened on a number of occasions this season where heads have dropped. Barisic coming off injured against PSV. The Celtic game, just appalling performances from beginning to the end. I mean, Kenny Miller. This is Kenny Miller, former Rangers player, and I know he played for them as well. But but hey ho. Recruitment at Rangers. This is what he said. Recruitment at Rangers has not been good enough, and it's not just in the last window. It goes back a couple of seasons now. Outside of Jack Butland, no one has hit the ground running. Tom Cadwell is a big loss. Tom Lawrence is a big loss. The buck stops with the manager, but the players have to take responsibility too. They should have enough to deal with any level of domestic competition. And that's what I mean. You cannot use injuries as an excuse. Not in this league. In this league, where you've got a Rangers team that were worth more on the pitch, financially more, than the Aberdeen team, to still lose to them is unforgivable. And if they don't sack him, I don't have much faith we'll even win the shitty League Cup. But Beale signed 9 players. The blame falls on him and the scouting department. They are the worst. We got a write-off. We need a new manager, and we have to sell these duds. Yeah, Cyril Dessers, I would ship him out in January. He's got to go. He's crap. What an absolute shambles today. After today, Beale has to go. Beale said he looked at these players in the eye, and he must have been out of his nut. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to think we begged Cyril Dessers to sign, I mean, it's just weird. Absolutely shocking. Could take years to come back from what Beale's done. Get him out now. There's RFC 56. 56 not being funny. What manager would take this job right now? It's a shambles. I suppose that's the thing you've got to take into consideration is whichever manager comes in, he's got to work with the players that Beale's got until January. Thank you. Beale, forward, please. Have been a disaster. We're stuck with them. Frank Lampard getting mentioned, but who knows, mate. After that shite today, I don't blame you, Owen. We lost so much money during the COVID season. We've not invested properly in a manager or players since then, says Frankfurt. 56. If Lampard was to take charge, I'd be very disappointed. Best plan is to get Thompson McCann into the end of the season and a director of football and get a manager ready for next season. I honestly think that is a crucial appointment now. We've got to appoint a director of football. The director of football has to be the consistent there. You look at clubs, in around Europe who are having success and having successful seasons. You look at Arsenal. Arsenal, how they've rebuilt, come back. Edu is their sporting director. He's done fantastically with recruitment. You look at the situation with Manchester City, with Begiristain. I know they've got Guardiola. I know they've got countless pots of money, but Begiristain has used that money wisely and invested it in bringing in players. Your sporting director needs to bring in the players because at the end of the day, your manager is someone who will go on a regular basis, and managers change 2, 3, 4. The days of having a manager of 10, 15, 20 years, like the Alex Ferguson days, are over. That no longer happens. Managers last 3 to 5 years, if you're lucky. You need a sporting director who consistently brings in players who suit the team, who suit the system. The manager fits in with that. You look at a club like Sunderland in the Championship, and that's where I'm from. And Christian Speakman, has brought in lots of young players who are having great success now. It's not been the manager. You know, managers have changed there, but the success has continued. Callum C says he's not been sacked yet, so the board has made their bed. Stuart says, I'm so fed up of talking about this team. I'm telling down about them all the time, but they have to give me anything to be hopeful for in 2 seasons. Stuart Henderson says, I hope you know why I'm so angry now. Stuart, we do. Absolutely. Stuart was one person who didn't back Beale at all. I quite like the sound of Thompson and McCann, to be honest, mate. If we go for director of football, we have to get that right. 100% agree with you, RFC. The money that has already been spent on this season for what? You know, 13 million on players, and on those strikers, 4 million on Cyril Dessers. 4 million to buy a player who couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. What made it worse was Ibrox, was the excuses Beale has done. Absolutely. Tav, Goldson, Davis, Barisic, Jack, Wright, Dessers, Lammers, Roof all need to be shot by next season. I think he means sold rather than actually physically shoot them. He's moved backwards. We have moved backwards. Absolutely, Chris. Just what I was Beale looking into with these players. Lol. Yeah, agreed, Scott. Guys, fucking deluded. Sack him now. Thompson and McCann won't cut it, says John. He has to be Reno. He means Reno Gattuso, although Reno Gattuso has just taken a job. Prime Time says, team full of misfits that just isn't working. Our whole style of football is dreadful, slow and laboured. We telegraphed every pass. We allow teams time to get back and reset. It's pathetic. That's what, you know what? I said on Wednesday night when we beat Livingston 4-0 that it was a solid performance. Not a great performance, not a good performance, a solid performance. And I got slaughtered for it. I got people questioning me. What is a good performance then? How is that not a good performance? We won 4-0. We kept a clean sheet. We scored 4 goals. Because the vast majority of the time, the passing and moving was so slow. It was backwards. It was sideways. It was slow. And against the better team, as we've seen today, you get found out. Now, I'm not saying Aberdeen are the best team in the world. They're not. They're not a great team. They're a team who are probably more an English League One team. But they're better than Livingston. And they showed us up today because the football we play is not good enough. Yeah, mate, I'd take Thompson and McCann, even Fergie in right now because at least we know they wouldn't accept what these players are producing. And agreed, mate, a director of football role has to be right. Blue Nose John says, I think Jack Butland will have to be transferred in January. Look, Jack Butland has been the one shining light. And I wouldn't blame Jack if he left in January because why the hell would he want to put up with this crap week in, week out? How many rebounds can you possibly get? It's like we don't have any defenders. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That was a situation, wasn't it? You know, that goal, was it the second Aberdeen goal? I mean, how many chances did we have how many chances do they want to clear the ball? And they just don't do it. It's like, here, have another shot. Here, have another shot. Here, keep trying. Just keep trying until you actually score in the end. Oh, yeah, I know poor Jack Butland's throwing himself everywhere, trying to keep it out whilst we're just kind of not doing anything. But, yeah, agreed. Disgrace. Reno is at Marseille. Yeah, he is. I suppose that's one thing is Gennaro Gattuso. Reno Gattuso is the Marseille manager now. The Clown is the Rangers manager. He's way out of his depth. Callum says Ferguson, Thompson, and Muscat. Beale signed Lammers and Dessers. Just for that alone, he deserves the sack because we are stuck with this rubbish. I mean, I suppose with Lammers, you can see glimpses of a player in there. Dessers, there's just nothing. Absolutely nothing. Prime Time says, why in God's name would we buy Dessers when we had many other options? The stats on our forwards was alarming, yet he still bought them, for fuck's sake. Agreed. Dessers, go back and look at the guy's stats over the last 3 or 4 seasons, particularly in league competition. The last time the guy scored double digits in a league season was in the Dutch second division. He scored 6 goals last year for Cremonese. And it was actually on the bench more. It was on the bench a lot as well. He was crap. He is crap. And what's worrying is he's our one fit centre forward. One fit centre forward. It's been since pre-season. Yeah, the football since pre-season has been absolutely shocking. Look, I've watched every single game, guys, this year. Either live or watched it back. And I can quite categorically say I have not seen a complete game where I've sat down and gone, brilliant performance, Rangers. Well done, guys. Fantastic display. You were unlucky in that game. You did really well in that game. I've seen a 20 minutes here, a 30 minutes there, a 15 minutes here. Well, we've played okay. Not brilliant. We've played okay. I've not seen a game. And I challenge any Rangers fan to come out and tell me that we were unlucky or that we played well. in games for whole games, because I'm sorry, if you're saying that, you don't know anything about football. You know jack shit about football. Callum C. Rangers, Rabble, Gio made us 25 million for Beale to spend on shite. Rangers radio, he is emptying Ibrox. Lots of good points, needs to go. Yeah, Callum, 100%. Gio got us 25 million Champions League. Yes, the Champions League was a disaster. Yes, we got knocked out. Yes, we were humiliated. But Beale's wasted the money. Beale will be sacked now. No way back for this clown. Duncan, unfortunately, I don't think they will sack him. I really don't. Seen it, got humped off Olympiacos pre-season. As soon as we concede, its heads down, no response. Agree. Did anyone see that in the second half? I think it was, where Connor Goldson had a 20-metre head start on the Aberdeen player. The Aberdeen player caught him up, got past him, took the ball off him. I mean, unforgivable. Unforgivable. From what I saw of Dessers at Feyenoord, he was a decent player, but fuck me, nothing's working for him at Rangers. And 4 to 5 million was very overpaid. No wonder Torino pulled out. Exactly. Ian being a total shambles. RFC 72, Scott 05, you're right, mate. This team has no mentality at all. Nicholas Moore. Hey, Nicholas, how you doing, buddy? Biggest load of embarrassing crap I've seen in a long time. Beale out ASAP. Callum C says, we have turned into St Johnstone of the league. Callum, he pitched it up against the wall. We are still in banter years. It will rumble on until the international break at least. Scott, I agree with you. I can't see them getting rid of him. Bisgrove left Ibrox early today. There's a photograph of him on Twitter getting in his car and leaving. Look, I'll tell you this. Against Limassol on Thursday, Michael Beale will still be our manager. And we'll probably win that game because Limassol are not a great team. But Michael Beale will still be in charge at the next international break. Why? Because the board haven't got the balls to sack him. We need someone with bottle to drop Tav and Goldson. It's not Beale. He must go. Yeah, I agree. Tav is undroppable. So it seems at the moment. He can play as crap as he wants. He can defend as badly as he wants. He's not a captain. He isn't a captain. You look back at Rangers captains, true Rangers captains, Terry Butcher, John Gregg, for example, leaders of men, leaders on the pitch. Tav isn't. He blames everybody else. He shouts at people. He's got a problem with Todd Cantwell. He's not a leader of men. I just don't get why he's the captain. Doesn't matter how bad they are, Owen. We are shite, and that's why they're ahead. I'll just about my remarks about Celtic there. Bisgrove left the stadium straight away, so doubt they've even spoken to about it if he's involved. Absolutely. That has to be the most depressing Saturday night I've ever lived, says Davey G. Pink Moon says Beale talks a good game, but that's all he can do. Defo Malky, it's a disgrace. The cheek to say we are harsh on that shit. Yeah, I talked about Callum referencing Beale's comments about the fact that he said it was harsh of the fans to boo the team off. Sorry, Michael Beale, you're talking fucking bollocks. I don't usually swear on this, but I'm actually really angry tonight. I'm really pissed off with Rangers. They've really ruined my day today. It's not been a great day anyway, because I'm actually feeling pretty crappy myself. I'm not feeling great. It's not been a great week, actually. But, you know, this has made it even worse. Thanks, Michael Beale. We'll be looking to make second, says John. Beale can go and take a few of the players with him. This is what I said, Nicholas. You look at how he left QPR. He left QPR in a right mess. A team that almost got relegated. A team that Gareth Ainsworth was having to clear out a lot of the crap that Beale's left there. A lot of very average, poor players who aren't even getting a game this season. And QPR haven't even got a lot of money. It's not like they've brought a load of players in. They're having to deal with young players and free signings because of the crap that Beale's left them with. It's not fair. He's doing it to Rangers as well. 213 people watching at the moment. If you can all smash the like for me. And also, guys, if you've not yet subbed to the channel, remember this channel brings you daily Rangers content all for free. We don't charge you like other channels do. We don't have a Patreon site, so we're not going to charge you for daily updates and daily news videos and podcasts and things like that. It's all free. So please hit that sub, ring that notification bell. They let the better players go out on loan. Alex Lowry, for example. Yanis Hadji. I mean, how much could we do with Alex Lowry and Yanis Hadji at the moment? That midfield is desperate. There's no creativity in the midfield. Cifuentes, not creative. Jack, not creative. Lundstrom, not creative. Lundstrom's first touch is bad, and his second touch is a tackle. We pay more in wages than PSV, yet they gubbed us. Absolutely. They are that good a team. Dessers and Lammers are shocking, says Nicholas, for this. John Lammy says, one of our channel members, and we can join the channel for as little as 99p. Whoever the next manager is has to be experienced. Agreed, 100% with you, John, there. No more unexperienced or projects. No wonder we've not been winning anything. Agreed. Souness was right at the start of the season. There's no football brains at the top of Rangers. 100% agree with Graham Souness. Bring back Graham Souness as director of football to the end of the season. Can't do any worse. I think we got a shot of a goal scorer for this heap of piss. Cholak. Yeah, Cholak. I don't understand that move. Cholak was a goal scorer. Yes, that's all he was, a goal scorer. But I tell you something. If Cholak had the chances that Dessers has had over this season, Cholak could be sitting on 12, 15 goals already this season. Dessers is sitting on 3. Dessers' 3 goals. One was a penalty, one deflected in off him against Servette, and the other one was Robbie Matondo's goal that deflected off him again. Dessers is shit. CRS, do you think we could get the PSV manager, Boss, or whatever his name is? I don't think so. I doubt he'll come whilst they're still in the Champions League. At least he went to the fans at the end, unlike Goldson. That's Dessers and Lammers, isn't it? Our business centres are shite. Agreed. We're stuck with these guys as they're all long contracts. They are, Malky, 100%. I think Beale is worse than Gio, says Nicholas Moore. Agreed, Nicholas. They won't sack him until at least the international break if they sack him at all. Talk about Gio. We won something and got to a Euro final with Gio. Then we should protest Stuart. They're charlatans. Might be the only way, guys. The only way maybe to get the board to listen is to vote with your feet and to vote with your wallets. You don't spend money at the club. You don't buy tickets. You don't go to games. You don't buy merchandise. Start hurting them in the pocket. That's when they'll start listening to you. Brutal. We need a proven manager on a budget, i.e. McInnes. He'll get the team sorted out and hard to beat. Sack him. Put Davis in charge for the next game whilst McInnes sorts stuff out. Personally, I wouldn't have McInnes due to the fact he turned us down. No balls on the board to get him. Yeah, absolutely. Cifuentes is more lethargic than me, says John. Davey says players are bad, but I think it's down to the fact they stopped playing for Beale and his shit tactics. It does look like they've disengaged, doesn't it? And they don't want to know anymore. 100% agree with you, Davey. I'm not giving up on Seafood. Beale is absolutely killing him. Looks like nothing like I've seen from him before. Probably is, the Beale is ruining this player. Malky, lol. There's absolutely rotten, mate. Don't say that, lol. Most of Beale's signings have been rubbish, Nicholas. Yeah, agreed. That Jack Butland is the one signing for me that has been good. Gregor, great to have you on here. Love having Gregor on the podcast. Gregor is someone who has some fantastic opinions. Great man. Love Gregor. Not got much to say. Why is there to say, Gregor? We're not good enough. Beale didn't want Cholak because all he did was score. Or we don't want you now, Beale, because all you do is talk shite and sign poor players. I'm detaching myself from this club until it's sorted. Lammers wasn't even needed in the summer. Cantwell's a better number 10. He's no pace, literally ineffective. Fuck you, strip. Fuck the board, says Callum C. Nicholas Moore. Cholak should never have been released. Agreed. And all Yamamoto does is score, or whatever he's called for Hitsu. MB not tough enough on the players. They don't fear him. They're all his pals. Beale is a coach, not a manager, 100%. Gregor says, not got much to say. The issue for me is it's been more than Beale all season. Too many players at our club who down tools, give up the first line of trouble. Too many imposters in Rangers shirts. Gregor, you're spot on there, mate. There's too many players at the first sign of trouble, down tools, give up, just can't be bothered anymore. And the fact that if you look at what we've allowed to go, we've got rid of Sakala, Kent, Morelos, Arfield, Cholak. We've brought in Dessers, Lammers, Cifuentes, Seema. Seema wasn't too bad today. I'll give him a bit of credit. It's just quality you replace with crap. It's like you've stopped shopping in Waitrose and you've gone to shop in Lidl. You're not going to get the same quality product, really. Jason Hines says, you're right, I left myself without shopping the last time and got 2 tickets and I'm stupid. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Rangers fans give up give up small things that they need for this club. And what do we get back in turn for it? It chucks back in our faces. What else have we got in the live chat? Stuart says, it's not that he's not got a system, Owen. He's not got a clue. Agreed. Bennett and Bisgrove, after the legal Eagles have done their work on Monday, must have Beale sacked or they're going to lose the blue pound big time. Agree. I suppose that is one thing to hope, that Beale and Bisgrove, Bennett and Bisgrove, have gone away to look at this and are trying to find a legal way to get out of this. We're costing the club the least amount of money. Yeah, agreed, 100%. Chris Redhand, what manager worth their salt will take this team over now? The old guard are dross. So far, the new players look bad. Tav is the worst. Look, I think one thing you've got to say is this, and I think you look at the defence, right? If we play Tavernier, Goldson, Davis, and Barisic, take out Ben Davis, 3/4 of that back four is the same back four that played against Celtic 5 years ago. Now, look, Borna and Tav have been great servants for the club in the past, but they're not getting any younger. They are getting slower. They're not as good this season as they were in previous seasons. They're only going to get worse as they get older. They're going to get slower. They're going to lose more of their ability to tackle, more of their ability to play, and we're going to be moved further backwards. And I agree that we've got to do something to change it. Kevin Robb says, if they won today, people would still know he isn't got good enough. It was always just a matter of time. He would pretty much need to win every game until the end of the season, and that's not happening. I would agree. The players clearly lack Daniel Frew, one of our channel members, one of our great contributors, says that players clearly lack the fight, the talent to succeed at a big club. If you're carrying a knock, you fight for the cause. You don't wimp out on the sidelines. Absolutely. Just leave now, Beale, says my good buddy Aldo. Rob Whitsford said, I thought up until now Beale would turn this around, but that was the final straw. The hope has gone. Sean Maxwell says, Beale out. Nicholas Moore says, now I know why Gerrard got out. He could see that things wouldn't change. Agree. Curry Munch said, Owen, you remember when I was on your pod? What did I say then? That was months ago. Beale is a fraud, and if the board do not act, they don't give two fucks about the fans. Curry, I agree with you 100%. You were right, mate. Same way you're right about Tav. Hopefully now as well, you realise I was right about Debtors. The guy is absolute dog shite. The players are finished under Beale. There's no confidence. He needs sacked tonight. He is finished, said James Toney. Chris says Beale won't leave. He's waiting for a payout. Hashtag get Beale out, says Jason Hind. Absolute joke he is, says Chris. I'm not convinced they even believe they can win the League Cup. DC says Doug Meat. Aldo still owing me an apology. Thank you, Aldo. Since 55, we've gone from bad to worse. Bob Steele, one of our great contributors, says, I've always been one for giving Beale a chance, but he's had that time for him to go. You know it's bad when Bob's calling for you to go. Butland's presser, he said the team are behind the manager, but it was quite clear they're anything but. I suppose that he's got to say that, hasn't he, really, Chris? He can't come out and say anything else. So, but you know what? Butland spoke more like a captain than Tav ever does. You know, Tav comes out with the same tired old crap, doesn't he? We know we need to work harder. We know we need to try harder, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, just awful. I mean, absolutely awful. Jack Butland said Jack Butland is more of a captain than James Tavernier. I personally would make Jack Butland captain. Jack Butland said tonight, extremely disappointing, not good enough. We have to be better collectively. There are no targets on anyone. You've got to go better. That's the bottom line. Teams are going to sit off and defend and wait for the moment to get something out of the day for them. It's exactly what they and we allowed them to do. It was all too easy. We made it difficult for ourselves. We've got to make more end product. There's no positives from today. We can't dwell on it. We've got to learn quickly. More of a captain in that one paragraph of what he said than anything Tav has ever said. Bring back Souness, says James Cleland. If not now, then when? And why not now? You will gain nothing by waiting, says Scott. Scott, I agree with you. My worry is the board will not have the courage to do it. Beale has got to go now. Surely he hasn't progressed at all. Celtic is shite and there to beat, but our squad are gutless. Agreed. Aldo, Bob, I was the same, trying to be patient, but after today, nope, I'm done. Beale to fuck out this club. Aldo, I'm with you, buddy. If you watch back any of my videos, you will not find me calling for Beale's head. You'll find me criticising him, questioning him, calling him out on things, but never calling for his head. But now I'm done. I'm done with him. He's got to go. 3 defeats this season so far. Not good enough. Performances, not good enough. Has to go. Nicholas says, definitely get Souness in. DC says, wonder if Scott Wright was outstanding again in Panfield's world. Probably was, you ask him. I don't even care if we go managerless for 3 months. Just got to get this con man out, says DC. We have scored 10 goals in 7 league games and let in 5. Jesus, we are bad. That's awful. Stuart Henderson says, I remember QPR saying he was a fraud. It will haunt us all. Agreed. He shouldn't be allowed to be a manager, says Chris. DC league over in September. When was Yilmaz and Jack injured? They never put in a tackle between them. What the fuck, says Curry Muncher. Well, that's what Michael Beale said tonight, Curry, that they're injured. Nicholas says we need an old school manager with a strong personality. Maybe a call for Soonies or Big Ek until the end of the season and then go for someone else. Banfield, joke of a presser. Watling, set piece specialist. Another goal lost from a corner today. Saw a comment on another stream. Guy paid over 1,100 for a season ticket, over by September. That is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. DC says season's over already and we're 7 behind them with only 9 available in all firms. That's another thing. Are we really going to go to Parkhead and win twice? That's the question. And then they've got to slip up again. I don't think it's going to happen. Curry Yilmaz probably farted and blew his ACL. We can't beat the Dross, let alone the half-decent teams, says DC. Will you even get second, says this guy here. I don't know who he is. Kevin, that's the reality. And then Beale's out saying that about the fans. Nicholas said that Gerrard saw the writing on the wall. Chris says he needs gone. Too many Tims coming on uphill, the boat coming on. Yeah, we're trying to get rid of them. And get that fraud Tab out of the Hall of Fame. Worst Rangers captain in our history. Snipe Ian, don't worry. Good lad. Forget the league now, says Nicholas. That's really sad, isn't it? That in September, we're already talking like that. I mean, let's face it, 56 was the must-win this season. And for me, we could even go on and win the League Cup and the Scottish Cup, but it's not good enough. It's just not good enough. The league was the target. If we don't win the league, it's a dead season. Owen, Bennett was making decisions when Parks was there. Parks took the bullet and left, then let Bennett go on his own. The exact same is happening. He needs to hand it out with Beale. DC said, fans been crying out for change in captain for 2 years, but Tav continues failing. Bottle jobs from top to bottom. Matthew Baker says, if and when Beale gets the sack, who's to say the next manager will get a tune out of these players, because I doubt they'll be able to get rid of them as they're on big contracts. Good point, Matthew. The money that's been spent sickens me, says Chris. We find it very hard to sell these players. That's the problem. Who wants this shite? Agreed. Who's going to want Dessers? Who's going to want Lammers? Good points coming up here. It'll take time to recover from this. Probably the best, if not more, 8 million spent on a manager and out after sacking this tool. Absolutely. Nicholas, obviously, who's been a member for 3 months. Thank you very much. And Tim's win, as always, fantastic. It's his Rangers TV money, lol. £10. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Guys, all the super chats and all the things that you give, any money you donate to the channel does help to support the channel. Thank you so much for that. The club is screwing the fans over season after season. I have no confidence the board will pick the right man, even if they do sack Beale, says Stuart. That's another thing, who do they go for? Is he, at this stage of the season, it'll be a manager out of work. Does that mean he's a good? Probably not. Is it wise that if we do get rid of Beale, that we go for someone in the interim and then look at the end of the season, trying to get somebody out of a contract or somebody who leaves their contract at the end of that time? I don't know. A fat Morelos will come back and save us, Stuart. You know what? Bring back Alfie. He can't do any worse than Dessers. First thing I do is drop simply the best being played as the players comes out, because we quite simply are not. To the famous RFC, Stuart Morelos can't even get a game for Santos, who are third bottom. Are the guys from Somerton? No, they're not. Blue Nose, they've gone now. You mean Del Boy and Rodney, Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven? No. They've got Sunderland have a Swiss owner now, called Swiss French owner called Kirill Louis Dreyfus. I'm away from the pitch and will enjoy it more than watching Rangers under Beale, says Stuart Henderson. The squad, with the exception of a few, are rotten, a bunch of journeymen. Turgid, narrow, slow, boring pitch is our style. That's the thing, DC. The style has just been awful. It's not football that gets you off your seat. It's not football that excites. It's not football that interests, is it? 257 people watching now. Please smash that like. And also, if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please hit the sub. It was a shite performance. Seen nothing from the Livy game. Absolutely. My sister and brother-in-law gave me, for my birthday, 2 tickets to see Northampton play on the 11th of November. Burton Albion. Nice, better than watching Rangers. Where it's going, Beale is going to get the fans fighting away at each other because we are all pissed off the way the shite we're watching. Absolutely. They were second bottom before today. Aberdeen, absolutely. Dessus is the worst Rangers player ever. He really is not clever, is he? Chris Redhand says, sorry state of affairs when you have to think who would you keep as opposed to who would you sell. 75% of the team don't look fit for purpose. That is worrying, Chris. We need a new manager who can come in and Geese alone and 20 million to spend. Yeah. We had the rest of the last season and pre-season to see the red flag, said Stuart. Never seen a Rangers team incapable of doing the basics right, says Chris. We need an experienced manager at least. Our last three have lacked experience. We have bought players who are injury prone with shit scoring records. Agreed. Guys, loads of comments. Struggling to get through all the comments. Just amazing amounts of comments tonight. Just fantastic how many comments that we've got on tonight. I'm going to try and get through as many as possible in the next few minutes. Nicholas says, the club, we're living on past memories. We need a reality check. If you haven't had already, I agree with you, Nicholas. Chris, Ian, I wouldn't even trust the decision. We have had money to play with this season. Although we need to get away from the ex-pros or people who've been here. Someone with no relation to the club is what we need. Someone with exactly. Someone with a fresh pair of eyes. Someone who can come in from outside and put things right. Stuart says he doesn't see anything from Lammers. I'm not saying he's a good player. I just say I've seen more from Lammers than I've seen from Dessus. Sick, pish. The board will be losing money. Fans leave Ibrox empty. I have 24 hours to calm down. Fancy putting bets on me being any calmer? I can't see it, Curry. If I hear Gaza or McCoist again, I'll start losing even more brain cells, Nicholas. That wee Beale must have been rubbing his hands when given the opportunity to manage us. Curry let the rage out. We do need it. Absolutely. I'll take the odds on you still being fuming, Curry, says DC. We've got Scotland an automatic spot in the Champions League and basically handed to them and gave them 60 million. Unfortunately, I think you're right. Fucking Aberdeen, not a good team. Okay, yeah. Okay, I was just saying they're a better team than Livy. That's the only thing I'm saying, I guess. If they don't have the funds to sack him, mate, he's on a 4-year contract. Again, whoever gave Michael Beale a 4-year contract is clearly an idiot. You know, that's just absolutely ridiculous. Tav goals and Barisic, time to go. Same with Jack. Cantwell, it's some sort of knee injury test video. Brian Muirhead, if Beale stays, he start booting players in the gonads. Crowd fund to get his contract to get rid of him. Let's do it. Let's start doing it. Tavi's not a captain. He goes missing. Agreed. There's been question marks over every decision he makes, says Jim Cunningham. Pretty much. I don't know, to be honest with you, Chris, what his budget was at QPR. It would cost $4 million to sack him and his backroom staff. Beale can't say all the fan base is against him now. Unfortunately, I don't think there are. I think there will be some idiots who are still behind him. Chris, I'm sure there's free transfers and loans at QPR. Could buy another Dessus for that money, Jason. Lol. Embarrassing that today. Yeah, absolutely. Aberdeen will finish above Rangers this season. Hopefully not. And Hibs, hopefully not. Very costly to sack him, and a new manager will want cash. It's always the downside, isn't it? We should have kept Cholak. Callum says, it's costing more not sacking him. Fans no buying strips or tickets. Exactly. Exactly. Hadji, Cholak, Sakala must be watching and pishing themselves laughing. I agree. They must be absolutely wetting themselves. Let's quickly flick through some comments. They've released more strips than one game. That's funny. What else have we got? If Rangers don't do anything about the manager, the board should be sacked with Beale out. Agree. He turned us down because he was on the board. He never got a proper offer. It was a speculative offer. I think we're talking about McInnes there. What if we could get Beale detained under the mental health act and get rid of him for 20 days at least? Good idea, Ian. Bring out that fourth kit this week was a joke. No shape, no tactics. The team are about saying what the fuck. We need players who are not scared to get their hair messed up and show some heart. Yeah, I suppose that's what Lammer's doing his hair. We've been poor since pre-season. What else have we got here? Linda says, hi, mate. We got Scott says, listening to Beale waffle is nearly as bad as watching his team. Sifu caused the first goal, not marking his man. Dessus and Lammers, not much to see from any of them. Dessus, what was he doing? I mean, he gave them a goal when he was playing with the ball on the edge of the box. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Butland doing a press conference, the only thing, one thing is doing a job. May as well have kept the players we let go and paid them and paid 13 million for Butland. True. Borna Barisic fell on his arse and let them get in for the goal. Not as if he's ever done it before. Absolutely. Meanwhile, Lewis Palmer scores for them. Recruitment is a shambles. Apparently, Palmer wasn't good enough for us. Tav and Borna are slow. The clown is asking him to get up and down the park or gain for width. He's not got a clue. This is an absolute embarrassment. How the fuck does he keep getting picked? I suppose at the moment because he's the only striker there is. Even the dogs on the streets say Beale must go. Borna, Tav and Goldson are useless. Sorry, no need to agree with you now. Sorry, no need to agree with you now on Dessers. He's rotten. Are injuries due to bad training? Dave, it could well be that, maybe. Are we turning into Chelsea? If Muscat has the answer, get rid of fashion Dessers. Butland for captain. Agree, Ziggy the Wolf. Ziggs the Wolf. Yeah, absolutely. They will put Beale on garden leave, same as Gio is. That's why Gio hasn't accepted a job yet. Check the accounts when released soon. Should have signed the Scottish striker like Shankland, says Stuart McMillan. I'm not a fan of your captain being in goal. He needs to be outfield, says Chris Redhand. Small EPL team might sign Butland. Butland spoke more sense than Beale ever does in his presses. Agreed. What else? Let's quickly flick through some comments, guys. We're getting towards the hour mark. Wow, just so many comments tonight. Guys, you've been absolutely superb tonight. You've been absolutely phenomenal. The comments, the support for the pod tonight has been brilliant. Rat out. Someone sitting on the bench will be better than captain than Tav, though. The board think we will calm down after a night's sleep. No fucking way. Why did we not sign a goal scorer like Shankland? He would have scored us goals. Who went to watch these new players? Yeah, what's the scouting network like? That's a good question. I mean, I think it's quite telling, isn't it? We've only just introduced data analysis and stuff like that for scouting players, which clubs in England have been doing for years. Beale get to fuck. So, first thing I'd do is drop simply the best. I'm sure I've seen that comment. Let's quickly flick through some comments. There we go. Curry, better manager would at least get a system and tactics sorted out. Exactly. Imagine so bad a manager you could make Neil Lennon look like Pep Guardiola. True. Nicholas Moore, hello mate. There we go. Tell Gerard to recommend us to a wealthy Saudi businessman. We are defo up for punishment. Another live pod, says Smoke Withdraw. Curry, a decent manager, would have come in last season, implemented their system and seen what positions were needed. He didn't do anything at all. That's the thing. Judge Beale on his whole body of work, and his whole body of work is not good enough. We are playing worse than we did under GVB. At least we won something. This clown will win nothing. Most people could see this coming as Aberdeen always raise their game against us. Time to write the season off and concentrate on the cups. Said for weeks, Dessers wouldn't get a first pick at Clyde. Agreed, David. What's Pedro up to? No thanks. Dessers was one in a Tambola. Smoke Withdraw. There's no plan to change since Stevie G showing style. Bennett should have sacked Beale when the fans are fighting each other at the end of the old firm game. Agreed. Bringing Kevin Thompson to the end of the season. What do you think? Yeah, David, I think, someone like David, someone like him with Neil McCann or Barry Ferguson as an assistant, interim managers at the end of the season, and then obviously when the season's over, you stand more chance of getting managers out of contracts and being able to pull managers from other clubs. Absolutely. Flick through some comments. No, he isn't Aldo. South Africa poor side, and we gift wrap them the title. British Army escorted Beale out of Glasgow. Lol. Bring in Martindale, a team of Protestant men. It's time to go back to the old ways. It's nearly Halloween. I've got my spirit board out. Arise, Sir Walter and Jimmy Bell, says David. Tav's not a captain. He's a loser like Borna and Goldson. You're sat on the sideline and you're bursting your balls to get back and fit to play this kind of football. This is a long contract too. David Hutchinson said, surely Lovelace must get a chance. You know what, David? He can't do any worse than Cyril Dessers. He really can't. Aldo RFC says, I can't stand Beale. Lol, that's harsh, but I can't. Don't forget the fourth kit. 4 years is madness. He knew what he was doing when he signed the deal. He's a fraud and he knows it. Not buying the fourth kit for Christmas. I've got a bag of mints for my tea tonight, but I wish I took it to Ibrox with me so I could walk into the dressing room at half time and throw it at Michael Beale, catch that Butland. We've jumped back to 2014. I wouldn't wear that fourth top to answer the phone. Beale waits till the 80th minute to take him off. But Dessers, and Dessers was booed off by the Rangers fans, and rightly so. Anyway, guys, you know what I mean? It's just such a sad reflection of a team. You know, at the end of the day, it's such a sad reflection of where this team is at the moment. For me, they've got to do something now. They've got to act, and they've got to, at least try and change it in some way. Whether that's bringing an interim manager, whether that's bringing in, finding someone out of a contract, I don't know, but something's got to be done. And if the board don't act, if we don't hear by Monday morning that this man has been sacked, what a damning indictment on this board. What a damning indictment on this board. It really, really is. Absolutely terrible of an indictment. Really is. Really, really is. Look, at the end of the day, something's got to change. Something's got to, something's got to be done to make this better. Celtic are looking at over 200 million in compensation, says Smoke. Look, I'm just lost for words today. I really am. Really, really am. One of the players who have been allowed to leave by Beale that shouldn't have been allowed to leave, players brought in who are not good enough to replace them, players who aren't performing. And what's worrying, guys, what's really scary is these are his players. He signed these players and they're not performing for him. Explain that to me. Well, guys, it's been on for over an hour now. I'm going to call this a pod. Guys, thank you so much for all your support tonight. Thank you to Haha Tim's Win for the £10 super chat. At the end of the day, look, like I said, I am lost for words tonight. Lost for words. It does seem like the league could be over if the board don't act. God knows what we're going to do. God knows what we're going to do. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for all your comments. Thank you so much for your things. Yeah, give youth a chance. Give youth a chance. Anyway, guys. Funny, good comment from Tam. Okay, as always, guys, two things I need you to do for me on the way out. Smash the like. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. And always remember, for me, no matter what, we keep the faith. We are.